All right, so last time we added the name, ID, and major headers here, but what if I want a fourth one? What if I want to add, GPA here or something like that? Well, right now it's not going to do anything because I'm only accessing these 3 headers here. But I want to add a fourth one, but I don't want to constantly be like adjusting and pasting and adding this. I want it to be dynamic regardless of how many I put in. I want it to display that many cells here. So the way I do that is with mapping. So I'm going to take this entire thing out here, and we're going to map the props header. So I'll start with opening JSX, and then we'll say props.headers.map. And this map function is going to allow us to actually map our data from the headers into our header cells here. So I'm going to open this up. And we have to create something called a callback function or anonymous function. And it looks like this. Now, it actually looks like this in JSX. We open close parentheses, and then we have an arrow pointing at more open close stuff. This isn't going to make a ton of sense, but for now, just kind of memorize the syntax here. We have map with open close parentheses here, and then inside of that, we have open close parentheses, arrow, open close parentheses, equal sign. That is the arrow notation. Now in here, these are the parameters of our callback function. We can put 2 different parameters in, and it'll automatically work. So the first one is the individual pieces of data. So that's the name, ID, major, GPA. Those are individually going to be pulled out and handled. So often you'll type the word data, or if you have something like this where it's headers with the S, you'll just type header, which means it's a singular instance of that header. It doesn't matter what you name this, but convention says if you have an S here, then you do the singular version here if you can. And we can just do the one for now, and then I'll explain how the purpose of the second one. But all we do here is just the same exact thing we did before, where we have our table cells. So I'll do TD, and then inside of here, I'll type header. And now if I save this, it maps all of them. It maps name, ID, major, and GPA. Now if I take one of these out, if I take this one out, it's going to automatically adjust for that. Now you'll notice we have a bunch of warnings going off at the bottom and saying, hey, you're doing something weird. What are you doing, man? And what we're doing is it says each child in a list should have a unique key prop. Okay, that's fine. The way we do that with our callback function is we can actually have a second parameter here, which you can see it's your index number. And we'll usually just use the letter I to represent that index. And all this is, it's the index of each of these. So the index of this is 0, then 1, then 2, then 3. And because it's the index, no matter how many are involved, it's going to be unique every time because it's going to keep counting up. So it's going to be 0, then 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, then 6. It's never going to repeat any numbers. So in that case, if we use that, we can have a unique key prop just like it wants. So a key prop means we need to add a property of key here. So let's say key equals I. And that's just going to make it so that it counts up 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, so on and so forth. And if we save, now if we refresh or whatever, we don't get that error anymore, or that warning that it wants a key prop. That's gone. So that's how we map these things. Okay, well that's really cool, but what if I want to have a dynamic number of columns and a dynamic number of rows or something like that? We can do that, or we can declare a type, and that's probably a little bit of a cleaner implementation, and I'll demonstrate how to do that in the next video.